Hey there everyone, and welcome to another Factorio mod spotlight. I'm Exterminator, and thank you for joining me again today. And in this spotlight, we're going to be covering the Pollution Solutions Lite mod. Now, this next part's going to be a little bit of a mouthful, but basically this is a light version, a fork of an older mod, which was a personal fork from someone else, which was like a fork from something else, and then something else before that. So like this is basically just kind of a refined version and newer version of a mod that has been like the original mod is super old, like 2 or 3 years old. But this is a more up to date version and kind of just a more refined version with really just the stuff for the main purpose of this mod. And what the purpose of this mod is this allows you to do some more stuff with pollution as well as enemies. So long time ago in Factorio, some of you will remember this, there were the alien artifacts, which you got by destroying bases, by destroying spawners. And then you use those for science. The devs took those out of the game several years ago, and once they did that, there wasn't really a reason to do anything with the enemies with the biters aside from just defending against them, really. But this kind of adds back in a cool way you can like actually do stuff by fighting them, both the biters themselves and their spawners. There is a really nice infographic on the mod portal page for this, but I'm going to go over it as well. So basically, this allows you to collect pollution and then do things with it, but also extract some things by killing the biters and their spawners. So you get these red xenomass from killing spawners, I believe. Yes, and then the blue one you get from killing the actual biters themselves, the bugs. And then you take these and do some other stuff with them, and I'm going to show you that here. So first off, the red xenomass is used purely just to build this new item, which is the pollution collector. This is the only way to build it, is you need these. So this gives you a reason to actually go out and destroy bases and stuff to get these. Once you do build these, then this can collect pollution. Now, I started here. It hasn't really done much because it actually requires quite a bit of pollution to work. I just set up a little thing here. But you can see fluid system content. So it's dumped some into here. That's what it's counting. So it's done a bit here. You can see it's slowly going up. So what you can do is you can then take a chemical plant and take this pollution as well as water and blue xenomass, which again you get from the biters themselves, and produces toxic sludge. So when you place down a chemical plant, you can just select this recipe here, and that will allow you to create the toxic sludge. And that's kind of like what you need for everything else. So once you get that toxic sludge, then there's several things you can do with it. And the mod adds one or two more new recipes as well as two other items, which are the toxic incinerator and the low heat exchanger. And this is kind of like an earlier game alternative way to do like some basic nuclear power, which is really nice, which I really like. So once you get the sludge, we'll just hypothetically say that we got some because we need 1,000 pollution for this, which we clearly don't have. So once we get the sludge, we can then do several things with it. So it also adds the toxic dump, where you can then pipe in either pollution itself or toxic sludge to release a deadly gas that slows and kills biological structures. Even a tiny amount is highly lethal. So you could kind of use this as like a defensive mechanism, I guess more like a passive. Just generally, it just emits a cloud that damages stuff. Like, it doesn't trigger on biters, it just kind of always does it. So you could do this, and then you would pipe in either the red pollution or the sludge, and this will just start emitting gases which damage. I think they would damage you as well. Or if you want to be like more specifically offensive, you could use the toxic turret that spews raw toxic sludge at enemies. So it does a decent amount of damage. It actually does a new type of damage. It's if you see down there, it's 150 a second plus 270 a second toxic damage, and it slows as well. Now, do keep in mind that I unlocked all research, so I do have like all damage upgrades, but still, really nice. Basically like a flame turret, but potentially even more damage and a different kind of damage and just kind of more fun. So there's that. I'm not going to demo that, but I mean, it's basically a flame turret with sludge. Now let's look at these other items. So once you get the sludge, one thing you can do with it, which is cool, if you don't want to just do a toxic waste dump to get rid of it, you can use a chemical plant and choose this recipe here, the toxic waste treatment. So you just feed in toxic sludge, and then it will give you coal, steam, and heavy oil. So you can then take the heavy oil and the coal and the steam, and you can do coal liquefaction, which is really nice. So this, if we actually like choose this and look at the recipe here, coal liquefaction is 10 coal, 25 heavy oil, and 50 steam, and this gives you exactly that amount. So every like one production cycle of this will give you a production cycle of coal liquefaction. And you can imagine in a huge base, like you're actually going to be pumping out this sludge really quick. Now, something else you can do is you can build this toxic incinerator, right? And what this incinerator is going to do is take sludge. Now you have to use barrels, so you have to take the toxic sludge and put it in a barrel and then like unbarrel it. You just put the barrels directly into here. And it's going to create heat, which you then use this low heat exchanger. So this is kind of like a more basic version of the normal heat exchanger. And you just use it basically like you would use any other, nuclear setup, is you just then would feed the heat into here. It would start heating up. Obviously we need water. It would produce steam, and then you could power either turbines or steam engines, I suppose, if you wanted to go that route as well. So this is just kind of like an earlier game version. You can see this is obviously nowhere near as expensive as a reactor. This is cheaper as well. You can get these earlier, which is nice. So this is kind of a nice alternative to that. Now I'm just going to really show you just as a demonstration, like fighting enemies and getting stuff from them. Now it looks like, so yeah, you can see it's kind of hard to see because of like all the blood and stuff, but there is the, like, you can see these little things, that those are the xenomes. I believe I'm pronouncing that right, maybe not. Oh, xenomass. So yeah, you can see I got 30 of it from killing the enemies, and then I got another 20 of it from killing those bases. You could alternatively maybe make these from each other, although I don't think that's actually true. It's just a weird thing in the recipe setup there. But that's basically it, guys. So that's the mod. Research-wise, it does unlock around the oil production stuff. So like pollution collection, you can get, which is red and green science, and this unlocks the basic collector, the toxic dump, and the ability to actually like get these from enemies. And then if we look at like the incinerator, this is also red and green science, and that unlocks essentially everything else you need for this. Oh, it also adds, I didn't notice because it's the same icon as the heavy armor, but this also adds the HEV suit. Protects against most environmental damage types useful for working your toxic dump site. So you can see toxic resistance down there is 20 and 90%, and same with poison, which is super good. I mean, it's actually that for everything. So this is just really nice if you plan to be like walking by or through toxic stuff. But overall, I just like it. It gives you something to do with pollution. It gives you more of a reason to interact with the enemies aside from just endlessly like defending against them for not really much reason, and no reason to actually clear them aside to get them out of your way. I just like that it's not overly complicated. Hopefully what I went over made sense. And then it's just a nice way to interact with two things that you normally don't really do anything with. So I think that's kind of cool. And you can see this is already up to 1.5K pollution. So if we actually had the other ingredients in there, then we would be making the sludge. So there you go, guys. That's the mod. I hope it made sense. If you have questions, do leave them down below. I hope you enjoyed, and I do recommend it. I think it's pretty neat, and there is a link, as always, to the Mod Portal page where you can check this out. That link is in the description. Like I said, there's a really nice infographic on there that just basically very simply and clearly breaks down what I just went over, like the ingredient tree and stuff, and production tree. So that's it. If you did enjoy, a like is appreciated. If you're new, welcome, and feel free to subscribe to keep up with future content. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and do take care.